Monsanto files patents on the molecular structure of seeds, takes over the seed world, creates seeds that are dangerous for humanity, takes control of crops, files patents on the molecular structure of pigs. They use the patent office to own and control all of life. They've taken over farming. They're kicking farmers off their land. When this type of activity is going on, you infiltrate the water, you infiltrate the air, you infiltrate the seeds, and you file patents on these things. And then they go into government. For example, Obama's head of agriculture was formerly on Monsanto's pay list. Now, you cannot have these conflicts of interest. You cannot have this devilish stuff happening and trust our elected officials, because whether they're Republican or Democrat doesn't matter. Many of them have conflicts of interest that are so deep and so far-reaching that they're already selling out humanity. So I totally understand why you didn't file the patents. I'm so excited that you care about humanity, that you've held your inventions and your pioneering work close to you to protect it all this time. And yet the financial part of getting it done requires something that's of another paradigm that is built for this purpose. And that means that the legal people behind the money, the structuring of this, the financing of this has to be at a totally new level. And it has to be done understanding that these parasites are standing on the right and on the left side of your pioneering work, ready and wanting to get in to own and control it. How much money do you need right now? Like $10 million? $10
million would certainly get the SEG to a point where we are fully giving it a test to go into production. I don't see anywhere along the line now we got any problems. All the materials are doing precisely what I expected from them. In fact, they'd even do better than what I predicted they would do, which makes me quite happy that we are going up the right tree for a mass production system. Now, today, when we look at the cost, we're not looking at the prices of 1946, where £108 would bought an SEG. Today, and that SEG is going to cost $16,000. And the longer we take, the more it will cost. And this is what I got to look at, is the cost. The key issue we got to understand is that as far as government is concerned, life is replaceable. Therefore, why waste millions to save it? They'll sooner spend millions to destroy life and the planet.
Are you familiar with the CERN, C-E-R-N, collider? Where is it, in Switzerland?
Oh, yes, I'm quite aware of it, yes.
They spend billions on that, and that is so dangerous. I mean, what are they doing over there at CERN?
The main aim there is that scientists are simply investigating the atom. What does it do? And they come up with that famous statement that in a coin you have millions of tons of energy if you could get it out of it. We take into account that the greatest brains of the time were saying that the atom had a lot of energy, but it'd take more to get it out. And that was the famous name of Einstein, Albert Einstein. He would not accept at any stage from other scientists that there would be a cheaper way to get the energy out. But you see, Einstein was proved wrong. The atom bomb was proven right. There was another way to get the energy out of it. And I've always looked at the atom that here was something you ought to be able to tunnel the energy out without releasing it all in one go. And this is literally what the SEG does. It tunnels into the atom and extracts the energy at a slow rate. And those who've got enough rollers to store energy to keep the front line loaded with energy. You have a constant output that never changes. And when you stop drawing energy, that is charged and it remains charged until required. That the velocity of the rollers drop their speed because they don't need to build up more EMF to push more electrons through the system. It idles, but as soon as you want to put demand on it, you switch on, whatever you're switching on, the velocity of the rollers immediately jump to a new level of velocity to meet that demand. So with the SEG, demand is met by the velocity of the mass in motion. And that is what in normal generators cannot do.
Do you think that because people don't understand what's happening, they're desperate to try to explain it, and in their desperation to try to explain it, they need to label it?
Yes. Well, the trouble with this, it's going to take time for the world to see what it takes to really even produce the SEG. It is a precision device. It calls for a lot of skill and a lot of what we call knowledge, patience, or otherwise you'll never do it. And I think that we have one really good man. There's 2 or 3 more coming online joining us, and there will be females joining us, and we'll have a really good team of workers in the United States. And that, for me, gives me great heart and hope for the future, that I may yet see the SEG on the market before my time is up.
I want you to live a long time.
Well, I may be past my shelf life, but the work keeps me kicking.
I would imagine that your spirit is so excited to see this thing happen that even if you have difficulty from time to time with your body, your spirit's going to keep you here as long as possible.
Well, let's say that I know that the future, the next 100 years, is not going to be good for planet Earth. And I know the reason for it. And the public don't know because they're not told. They're not instructed in the problems ahead. America and the Canada military scientists are trying to solve how they're going to deal with the problems that we're going to hit. And this is done really more secret than open because of scaring the public. And the next thing is that when I look at it from my end, this seat, it's a shame because we should be prepared not for what we may expect to hit over the next 100 years sometime, but what's going to actually happen on the planet. What can we do to save all forms of life? Because saving the human being is no good if the food is destroyed. There's no food for them. We've got to also care for the food stuff and see they're also protected. And this really is a human effort. It is not really what we would call a commercial project. It's a human thing.
Exactly.
We must get together and protect ourselves, try to make things better in case of serious flooding. That is now vital.
I did a show the other day on the chemical compounds that are released from these planes that go up and spray strontium, barium, and aluminum into the air supply all over the world. And it's so disturbing because they're finding these materials that are coming out of the planes. It's ruining plants. They're filled with aluminum. And we really have to deal with very, very tough realities that there are military projects going on without our consent, without our knowledge, all over the world, and that it's not just the ground, it's not just the seeds, it's not just the water supply that's being ruined, it's the plants, it's the animals, it's the bees, it's all of it. And I agree with you. Everybody's going to make it or we're all going.
How much do we know about what we eat in the day.